Welcome to this edition of Member Spotlight. I'm Curtis Dean. Member Spotlight, always a great opportunity to talk to CBAN members from across the board, whether they be our associate members, our provider members, our community members, everybody that's part of the CBAN ecosystem and family. And today I'm really excited to have one of our newer associate members featured here on Member Spotlight, the folks at Mid-America Computer Corporation, more affectionately known as MACC. Welcome, gentlemen. I've got Scott Boultinghouse and Brian Thomas on camera with me. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on and talking with us about MACC.
Thank you for having us.
Great. So I'm familiar with MACC because when I first broke into telecom way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, MACC was the company that we worked with for our telecommunications billing and business support. So that's way back in the day. And so we're talking 25 years ago. So I'm sure things have changed. So I'm really anxious to hear your story. First of all, either one of you, what is the origin of MACC?
Okay, Scott, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, MACC, Brian might be able to speak to this a little more. He's been here a little bit longer, but we just hit our 50-year anniversary. I've been with the company for about 5 or 6 months now, but I've come from the ILEC side of the house for the last 25 years. I was not that familiar with MACC, and I've been blown away at the level of detail and modernization that they've do with their software as far as integration with telecoms, other equipment vendors, and making everything seamless for their teams. But to your point of the long history, that's what stood out to me one of the most is joining the organization is the mix of new people for the modernization, but there's a lot of heritage and there's a lot of experience, and there's people with the company that have been here 30, 40 plus years. And there's a lot of knowledge when they have that kind of interaction with our customers and clients.
Yeah, great. One thing I've noticed in this business, and really I didn't know much about OSS and BSS systems until just a few years ago when I was working for a client that needed one. And, we went through several presentations. And I guess at that time, what I thought was interesting is it seemed like there were a lot of new entrants into this space. And I think that's still true today. I mean, we set up our OSS BSS spotlight at the Spring Summit, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. And, I quickly get 7 companies to sign up for presentations and find out there's probably 4 or 5 others that I never heard of before that are out there doing this and providing these kinds of services. So would you guys say that your expertise, your longevity, and your track record are kind of one of your best attributes?
Yeah, I would absolutely say that 50 plus years, right? So just started off also as a provider. So we were originally a telco and then developed our own software. And I would say, we are seeing a lot of new entrants, but the main thing that, MACC really does and does well is we're a fully integrated system that does work with other partners, but think of it like a full stop solution. So it's not only the BSS, OSS, but it's the financials and the service bureau and the data processing. It's, soft switches, so there's just a lot that we do. So it's a full complement that you could get from MACC, and not many providers in this space do that today, can offer all of it, but then are also really open as it relates to an API type conversation, work with others as well.
So talk about your customers. Where are they? Who are they? Are they big companies, small companies, in between companies? What's kind of a customer profile for a MACC user?
I'd say we're nationwide. We have everything from smaller incumbent ILECs that have been around for 100 years. And we have broadband providers that are relatively newer. But we have customers in almost every state, I believe.
Yeah. Minus Hawaii, still trying to get there. Our highest concentration, though, is Iowa.
We have the most companies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You got 170 or so to choose from when you come to the
yeah.
state of Iowa between
Yeah,
all the
so
independents, the municipals, and then the big guys. So,
absolutely, our Midwest roots for sure.
well,
Is
if you need anybody to help you crack into that Hawaii market, you let me know. I'd be happy to travel over there and make some introductions, and maybe on a beach with a martini or a nice umbrella drink. So your customers that you have today, we're going to talk about your future customers that you'll be hopefully attracting at our spotlight or showcase or spotlight at the OSS BSS. Do they tend to how do their needs evolve over time? Because what we did in Spencer, Iowa in 2002 with the MACC platform is not at all what they're doing in Spencer, Iowa today, or any telecommunications company. What they do has evolved a lot. How do you guys match that evolution? How do you, continue to meet those needs over time?
I think it goes back into reinvesting and developing our product and modernizing it for our clients to make them more efficient, leveraging AI. That's not a new concept, but it's certainly the trend. And we have the resources in house to do that, to make the software more efficient, to help as our clients have grown and manage their customers and their product sets have grown or changed over time. You need resources where you can actively find the information you're looking for to help a customer as quickly as possible. And the modernization of our software takes aim right at that, to make it easy to onboard new people, to help people who've been there for a long time access information more efficiently. So,
yeah, and I think too, it's around kind of the theme of the show, right? It's the moat, like building your moat. So I would say customer engagement is really big, is more of a focus now than ever before, along with what I would say data sovereignty and how they use their data, getting access in order to make decisions. And so we're focused, on the AI, the analytics piece of it, to help expose that data and then make it useful for them to make the right decisions. So those are two big ones as well that we're seeing.
Now, your solution, I know there's different approaches by different companies, right? And some have the approach that, well, we're going to do cloud hosted, all the intelligence is in the cloud, and you interface with it through a connection of some sort. Others are like, no, we want to be we're a server-based system because we want your data to be stored locally and not have to go out into the cloud. So what approach do you guys take, or do you have a blended approach to that?
It's blended. So our customers can be fully in the cloud and not have to worry about maintaining servers or the hardware and some of the fun headaches that can come with that. But the flip side is that we understand a lot of clients like to have their data on site. And so even with our modernized web-based software, the interface might be hosted in the cloud, but the data can be kept on site.
So that gives people some flexibility. Do you have a mix then among your clients?
Yeah, we do. It's about almost half and half. Yeah.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. So the ones that really want to keep their data, that's, I would say, like the hybrid or the blended approach has been popular for sure.
You mentioned the word, a phrase that I've heard a couple times: data sovereignty. What does that mean to MACC? What would that mean to a telecommunications company out there?
I would say it gives the customers the ability to maintain and control their data, right? So increasingly, as things get more open, especially with AI and everything, data is critical as a competitive advantage. So how do we help them make sure that we keep that sovereignty so they maintain that control of it? So that's the way that we look at it for them.
Their data is their data. It's not your data.
Correct. Yeah. It is their data. Yeah.
I think that's a concern industry-wide, honestly, that there are some players, not necessarily you guys or any of the OSS, BSS systems, but there are players out there in the business that the concern is they're really in the business because they want the data. It's not because they want to sell you a box or sell you a piece of software. They want the data because data is knowledge and knowledge is power and power is money. So I'm glad you brought that up because I think there are a lot of concerns in the industry right now that, and I'm talking some of the big players like Amazon and Microsoft and, Google, and, what they really want to do is be a data mining operation, and they make boxes to do that. And your data should be your data. So
exactly.
Like that. Yeah, and I think, even when we talk AI and you hear some stuff about that, like our AI, Mimir, is a closed system, so it stays within their environment too. So, we take that very seriously, right? So, cybersecurity, data sovereignty, all of that is just making sure that it stays within them, and I think that's super important because, like you just said, and I said earlier, it really is the competitive advantage that they have.
Let's talk a little bit about AI because because everybody talks about AI all the time now. What approach have you guys taken as far as to putting AI into your platform? Is it been have you done it on a measured basis? Because I know it's like almost a gold rush. Everybody's like, I've got to get my platform AI, or people won't like me. They'll think I'm behind the times. But on the other hand, if you rush that stuff, maybe you're actually degrading the experience. So how have you guys approached that? Do you use it on a case-by-case basis? You determine first what AI can do and what it should do and maybe what it shouldn't do?
So I'll take a stab at that first, Scott.
Sure.
Go for it.
So we have an AI governance committee. So we look at, and we also work with our customer leadership council. So we have several customers that are part of this customer leadership council, and they help us set priorities on what are good uses for AI. And then we also have the benefit of Harris Computer, which is our parent company. But we have the benefit of working with over 130 other businesses that are sister companies that we all share information on AI. And then there's also a governance structure that way too. So it's very smart use, but we are productizing it. But I would say we are measured and methodical in what we're doing. Again, to make sure. So you see on some of the products, like you said, people kind of putting it in, but MACC can summarize an account and say, hey, here's kind of like if you're looking at someone's account, like here's the state that it's in. We can summarize comments. They don't have to read through comments anymore. Really, the goal is to make people more efficient and be able to focus on more complex tasks. So it can automate things, and it can also suggest things, but then also we're using it to help analyze their data. So, and again, for them to make decisions and then present it in such a way. So we see it as people are going to, have to get better at prompting. I think all of us are, right? You asking certain questions. And that's where it could create a bad experience if you bombard the customer. So yeah, we've been very measured and methodical. And then, like I said, we have our governance committee working with our leadership council of customers that actually help shape the direction that we go. But then they also we'll give it to them early and they'll test it out. So think of it like a beta. Right? Yeah.
Prompting that's an interesting topic. I know somebody's doing it right now, but we almost need like a curriculum on prompting that all persons that work in the business world that are going to use AI. So they're not just wasting their time and not wasting a lot of processing power out in the cloud because they don't know how to write a good prompt. I'm as guilty of that as anybody. I just throw crap there and I hope it figures it out.
Yeah, I was actually doing a lot of prompting right before this call. Actually,
yeah,
prepping.
Yeah, sometimes getting off track a little bit here, but what I've noticed is the more time I spend thinking about the prompt, the better the outcome is going to be. But it's sometimes you just want to get something in quick, let it regurgitate while you're doing other things and come back and hopefully get a good answer. But sometimes that just doesn't happen if you garbage in, garbage out, right, guys?
Yeah,
right. Exactly. Well,
a lot of the things that we've been talking about you guys are focusing on are for your provider clients is to allow them to be better at delivering the customer experience by having the intelligence it takes to be able to answer questions that customers have, to be able to effectively handle any billing or other issues that are occurring within their ecosystem. And that's that customer experience or CX factor. That's the theme of our upcoming CBAN Spring Summit. So you're one of the companies that is going to be part of our OSS BSS showcase all day on April 1st at Ames, Iowa at the Gateway Hotel and Conference Center. If you're watching this after the fact, I'm sorry you missed it. But you can call these guys and they'll get you hooked up with a presentation anyway. So talk a little bit about the approach you're going to take on that day without spilling any beans, of course. We want butts in the seats to witness this, not just listen to this and think they don't have to come.
Well, I think that they're going to find a really interesting platform that is most of the people that we've demoed this software to they have just been blown away at the ease of being able to find information, the ability to query through our AI agent within the software for just about anything they need, and that goes into getting customer information or running ad hoc reports, whether they have their established reporting that they want to do every month. Or if they want to do something more custom to get more insight into their customers. Those have been the things that stood out when people have seen the software and what it can do. And so, and you can't get that off the podcast. You need to show them.
It's so true.
I think it definitely is a reframing of the value prop conversation, focus on them and their customers. And then how we can help as an effective partner. And that's really what we want to do. We just want to be good partners and grow and help execute their strategies with them and making sure that we're moving along with them to create solutions that meet their needs. And then obviously the message is for people that are kind of thinking about it or looking at their current system is like, we hope that we can show that we're going to reduce complexity. We're easy to work with. This is a great solution that will really help drive your customer engagement and experience. That'll put you, number one in your market. And if you have growth priorities and things you're trying to do, like what tools, can help, right? And how do you communicate with them? So that's really the big thing is just hitting the value prop, outshining everybody else.
We were talking as before we got started with the recording here that I kind of equate our OSS BSS showcase sessions on April 1st as kind of a broadband equivalent of speed dating. You get a chance to meet several potential companies, including MACC, and then after that, the next step is maybe to evaluate them offline. Set up a demo with them. You guys will also be there for our exhibition hall too, so we'll let everybody know that they'll come. They'll go to the OSS BSS spotlight on the 1st, stay overnight. Next day, they'll be in the exhibition hall for most of the afternoon on April 2nd. So we invite everybody to come by. And I'll just put a plug in. If you haven't registered yet, we still have room. So if you're watching this before April 1st, that is. After that, we don't know. All right. Well, as we wrap up here, anything else you want to leave our listeners and viewers with, and as they are looking at, what MACC can do for them?
Just throwing out there that we've been around for, as we were talking about, 50 years. We've put a lot of resources into the modernization platform. And even if some of your members have looked at us in the, even as recent as 2 years ago, I think they'd be amazed if they came by and saw the updates. So I'd encourage them, even if they've looked at MACC in the past, they probably haven't seen this modernized platform.
Fantastic. Time for a second look, and you'll have the opportunity. So anything else you want to add, Brian?
No, I think I'm good. I'm just looking forward to getting out there, seeing everybody in person. And then, folks listening to this after the fact, maybe feel free to reach out. come by the booth if you hear this before, because we will have a touchscreen monitor. So not only will we show some things, but then you can also actually interact with it yourself. So
Oh, fun.
really
That's
exciting
the
times.
best. That's the best way to learn, is to touch, to actually get in there. So
Absolutely.
and we'll remind everybody that we'll have our, if you're listening to the audio version of this, I have been displaying the MACC website address here throughout. But if you're only listening, check out the show description, and I will have your website address on there, so they can go to the MACC website and reach out to you guys if they want to learn more. Gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for coming on the podcast today. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, Curtis.
Thanks
My
for having
guest-
us. It's great.
You bet. Our member spotlight today on Mid-America Computer Corporation, or MACC, and our guests have been Scott Boultinghouse and Brian Thomas. And for everybody else, we will see you back here next time on a next edition of Member Spotlight.